Every pitch deck ever created has this one slide. Some call it TAM, some call it target audience. I call it market sizing. The main purpose of this slide is to tell the investors that how big is the market that we are trying to get into. Founders often confuses this slide, makes the wrong assumptions and get to the number which is way off that investor says no. Please understand there are three sections to the market sizing slide. TAM, SAM and SOM. And calculating each one of these with the same top-down or the bottom-up approach is wrong. In this video, I'll break down the exact calculation approach which I use to calculate the market size for the startups I work with. Let's first talk about TAM and SAM. Now to SAM, TAM is the total addressable market, meaning what is the revenue size of the industry in which you are getting into. Let's say I'm starting a social media app, competing directly against Instagram. For me, the total addressable market would be the total revenue made by all the social media apps globally. Not just the ad revenue, not just from the app which are similar to mine, not just from US or India, but all the social media apps globally which monetizes people's attention. Founders are often told to drill the TAM so deep that they are left with a number which is just a few million. The purpose of TAM is not to show how much will you earn in revenue, but to show if the market is big and growing. Investors want to know if there is a big enough market for the problem you are trying to solve. So the TAM has to be a multi-billion dollar number. The word addressable is the key here. When Nothing would make a pitch to its investors, it would categorize the whole mobile phones market as its TAM. Not that every phone sold would be from Nothing, but to show how big in size the market is. Investor decides positively to invest when you are solving unsolved problem in the large market. Well, the actual revenue for your startup, that gets covered in our third step, which is SOM. Then comes the SAM, serviceable addressable market. I'm building a social media app which will only be available in US and India. Plus, it will be targeted only towards Gen Zs, not millennials, not boomers. Then what I can service is just the fraction of the TAM. For me, the SAM would be social media app revenue only from US and India, and that too from Gen Zs. Here, investors want to know how big is the pie which you can address to, not capture, but address. But how exactly do we calculate these? Here we use the top-down method. It's a market research method where you are getting the data from the outside. To get TAM and SAM, we can use resources like Statista, Grandview Research, and McKinsey reports. So the easiest way to get TAM and SAM is to search for a credible report which matches your startup idea and use the market size. Of course, you can make some tweaks according to the problem you are solving. Let's move. Calculating the SOM, or serviceable obtainable market. With TAM, you know how big the market is. You know how much you can service with your product. Now you have to show how much you can realistically capture from this big billion-dollar number within next 3 to 5 years. In my earlier video, we discussed why financial projections should be created at the time of writing the business plan. If you didn't get time to watch it, I'll link it at the end of this video. So, SOM is the 5th year projected revenue for your startup. Here the math is simple. For my social media app, how many number of users I will have in the year 5 multiplied by how much they will pay me in terms of ad revenue in that time. That's it. But the tricky part is getting those two numbers. Let's take a real example. When I was creating a financial model for a social media startup, I benchmarked how many users did Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter had in their early days. That gave me a ballpark range to start my projections. For the ad revenue per user, I simply use this source, which gave me country-wise ad revenue per user. So, at very granular level, you need to drill down to two things to get to the SOM. What is the volume of your product you will get, and how much price you can fetch for your product. In other words, how many people will buy and at what price. This method is called bottom up, as you are going up to the SOM from the smallest number possible. If you are with me till here, from now on, you'll not get confused while calculating market size for your startup or not get intimidated to show it so small. Just pay attention to these three words: addressable, serviceable, and obtainable. TAM is the total population which can hypothetically use your product. SAM is the audience to which your offering is targeted at. And SOM means how much you can realistically capture from these two numbers in the next 3 to 5 years. Comment down below how else do you calculate market size for your startups. And if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and make sure you subscribe for more. See you in the next one.